My name is Tyler Clark, a graduate of Case High School. You may recognize me from years of Swansea Community Network Sports, being broadcaster for a variety of sports here at Case High School. Well, besides broadcasting sports, another one of my interests is actually doing card magic. So a little bit of backstory with this. I've been doing card magic for coming up in 3 years. I'm also a teacher, so I like to bring card magic into my classrooms at school, and I teach at after-school magic club when I have the chance at my schools. And I figured I would come on today and show you how to do a couple fairly simple magic tricks that you can learn yourself at home and be able to practice, because all you really need is a simple deck of playing cards. I prefer the Bicycle brand, but really any of them work. And for this particular trick, you can take your deck, you can shuffle it yourself, you can have your audience member shuffle. It really doesn't matter who shuffles the cards, but I'll show you in one moment that they will be in a totally random order. So this is a shuffle deck, and I'll just do one more shuffle just to make sure they really are mixed up. Now for this particular trick, you're going to have your audience member pick any card that they want. So let's say they're going to stop here. And this, I'm not sure what this is, but this is going to be their card. So then their card will be got, and they'll put it somewhere in the middle of the deck. Now, obviously in this circumstance, when you're doing it with someone else, there's going to be a live person in front of you. I'm just talking to a camera right now, so with some creative camera work, you know what the card is. And then I normally wouldn't, but for this circumstance, I'm being told that the card is the 10 of diamonds. So I would say, okay, somewhere in this deck is the 10 of diamonds, but the 10 of diamonds has a friend, and the 10 of diamonds friend is the 5 of spades. So if we find the 5 of spades, the next card will be the 10 of diamonds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put cards face down on this table until I come across the 5 of spades somewhere in this deck. And when I come across the 5 of spades, its friend, the 10 of diamonds, should be the next card after that. Okay? And I'm going to keep going. That was the 10 of hearts. That's the 5. There's the 5 of spades, which means the next card is going to be the 10 of diamonds. Now, how is this trick done? This is the first trick that I always show students in the Magic Club how to do, because it really is quite simple. And I'm going to just quickly show you how it's done. Now, I don't expect anyone to actually be able to shuffle the way I do. It took some practice to get to that point, but it really doesn't matter how the deck is shuffled. Here's how it's done. This involves doing one thing. After the deck is shuffled, whether you do it or your audience member does it, when you're straightening out the card, you want to look at whatever card on the bottom. So for this circumstance, my card is the 3 of hearts. This is something in Magic called a key card. So I'm remembering the 3 of hearts. Your audience member says stop whenever. So let's say they're going to stop on this card right here. Okay? I'm not sure what it is. I'll look at it for this circumstance. It's the ace of spades. Okay? So that's their card. I know what it is because I'm showing you how to do it, but normally I would have no idea what this card is. When I put the ace, I usually just put it on the top of the deck. But when I cut, notice how I have the 3 of hearts right here, and here's the ace of spades. So when I cut, I'm putting the 3 of hearts right on top of the ace of spades. And therefore, when I'm turning one card over at a time, the 3 of hearts will always be next to the ace of spades. Now, your audience's card won't always be the ace of spades. It's whatever card they randomly pick. For this circumstance, it happened to be the ace of spades. So I'm looking right now for the 3 of hearts. I'm not looking for the ace of spades because I honestly normally wouldn't know that the card is the ace of spades. So I'm just going through. I'm looking for the 3 of hearts. So there's the 3 of hearts, which means the next card is the ace of spades. I'll do that one more time, a little bit faster. So let's say your audience shuffles the deck, okay, and they say stop here, okay? That's their card. I'm not sure what it is. This time I won't actually know what it is. I won't even look, but I'm just going to do this here. So then at this point, your audience member would, you'd ask what the card is, they would say what it is, and I'd say, okay, your card is friends with the 5 of clubs. I know this because my key card is the 5 of clubs. So I turn this over, as many cards as needed until I find the 5 of clubs. Okay? I'm going through, I'm looking for the 5 of clubs, and the next card after that is going to be whatever card that I'm not sure what it is that I just showed to the camera, which in this case should be the 8 of clubs. It's a very easy trick. Anyone can learn it. All you have to remember is looking at the key card on the bottom. I hope that you're able to practice. Easy enough to pick up a deck of cards anywhere around the house. Any store really has them. Very easy to remember, and hopefully you will be able to fool some people with this very easy card trick. I'm going to show you how to do another card trick this time. You can see I have another box, Bicycle brand, but this time it's blue. And I usually do this as a magician because therefore it's easy to tell the cards apart if they get mixed together. So for this time, I'm using a blue deck, but it's still the same setup of cards. So for this circumstance, you have your cards. You tell your audience member to say stop at 2 different points. So I'm going to start by putting cards down, and I'm going to pretend the audience member is saying when to stop. So if I'm doing this, and they say stop, like, okay, great. So I'm going to break that pile into 2 smaller piles. Now for this time, I'm going to take from the bottom, and they're going to tell me when to stop again. And they say, oops, stop. Like, okay. So now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to break into 2 smaller piles. And if done correctly, your audience member, without even realizing it, would have stopped on an ace, an ace, an ace, and a 4th ace. How is this done? So, this trick is one, put these up here for you, that involves setting up the deck in advance. There are 2 types of card tricks. One, like the previous one, involves your audience taking the cards, shuffling it up as much as they want, and giving it back to you. And for this circumstance, the deck is slightly set up in advance. When I say slightly, I mean slightly. The majority of these cards are going to be in a random order. But here is how this trick is done. You want to take your 4 aces, you want to take 2 of them, you want to put them at the top of the deck. You want to take your other 2, and you're going to put them at the bottom of the deck. This is beforehand, before your audience even sees. So you have ace, ace, then random cards, and then ace, ace here. And here's how this is done. You start by taking the top, and this is important, you only make 1 pile. So you're doing this, and your audience says stop here. So now you have this, and you're going to break into 2 different piles. And now you're going to go from the bottom of the deck. So you do this, you grab from the bottom, and then they say stop there. Now they can really go as long as they want, as long as they go through the whole deck, but it is possible to work around that as well. And then you go here. And the way that I set up the deck in advance makes it so once again, they have stopped on all 4 aces. Now let me explain how this trick really works. Because you might be wondering how on earth I managed to get 4 aces again. So again, we put 2 at the top, we put 2 at the bottom. Now, here's how this is done. If I put cards straight down on this table into 1 pile, the first 2 cards I put down are always going to be an ace and then an ace. And it doesn't really matter how long I go at that point, let's say to there. Because now I'm taking this 1 deck and I'm breaking it into 2 piles. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And by that logic, the last 2 cards I put down are always going to be an ace and an ace. Now on the other side, it wouldn't work if I take directly from the top because there's just going to be 2 random cards. This is why we're going to go from the bottom, because the 2 cards at the bottom are the other 2 aces that were set up in advance. So we take from the bottom, ace, ace, and then they say to stop whenever, and they stop there. Okay? Now we're going to take our one deck, and once again, we're going to break into 2 different piles. But because we're doing 2 piles, the last 2 cards are always going to be an ace followed by another ace. And if set up correctly, this trick will work every time. You don't always have to use aces. You can use kings, you can use queens, you can use any cards that you want, really. But if it's done correctly, you will always end up with those 4 cards. So it's very simple. You have your deck, and remember, I just had this set up in advance. And you take out your deck, okay? Even if you quickly show your audience, they're not really going to pay attention to you just quickly went through 2 aces. And you say, okay, I'm going to put cards down. You tell me when to stop. And they say stop there. Now you can do it this way too. You can be like, good, okay, I'm going to do one more pile. You tell me when to stop. And then they say stop there, okay? You take this pile, like that. And then one more time, like that. And then right out of the box, 1, 2, 3, 4 aces in a row. Another very simple, just requires a setup in advance. And as I said, you can use it with any cards that you'd like. It doesn't only have to be the aces. So that's the second easy card trick that I have. I hope you're able to practice this one at home as well. Again, all it takes is a very simple deck of cards and a little bit of practice, and you should be able to get it down after that. And thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.